Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Bacon. Welcome to the show, y'all. You ever notice how prison got its own kind of weather? It don't matter if the sun blazing outside or the rain hitting sideways. In here, the air always feel heavy, like something floating that you can't quite see, but know gonna land on you eventually. That's how the day started. Just thick air and tension. Now me, I work the laundry room, always have, been doing it long enough to where the COS don't even look my way no more. They just nod and keep walking. And that's exactly how I like it. See, in prison, you don't want attention. Attention gets you searched. Attention gets you snitched on. Attention gets you hurt. So I made myself invisible in plain sight. Behind that third industrial washer, the one with the squeaky hinge and rust-like freckles, that was my real office. Nobody knew what was back there but me. I'd hollowed out a little pocket behind the pipe years back. That hole held everything I needed to keep breathing when money and freedom stopped mattering. Phones, tobacco, a couple ounces of weed, even a few prepaid cards wrapped tight in plastic. That stash was my safety net, my leverage, my peace. And for 6 years, not once did anybody find it. Till that night. It was a Thursday. Count cleared late, the whole unit buzzing from boredom. I stayed back while everybody else hit the yard. Said I was inventorying sheets and towels, but truth was I liked the quiet. Ain't nothing like being surrounded by machines humming and steaming, white noise that block out the chaos. But in the middle of that hum, I caught a smell. Not bleach, not soap, weed, real earthy, loud weed. Now I know that smell, and I know better than to panic. I walked the perimeter slow, listening. That's when I saw T. Allen, this young buck from Memphis, slick talker, eyes always looking for an angle. He was standing by the mop sink, rolling something in a sheet of paper like he was writing a letter to God. Only thing it was, letters don't burn like that. I stepped up behind him quiet, said, "You must think this the Hilton." He damn near jumped out his skin, dropping that little roach in the drain. "Chill, Joe," he said. "I was just stressing." I looked at him long, then down at the drain. Smoke still curling out like a spirit that ain't done with him yet. "Stressing?" I said. "In my laundry room?" He started rambling about how the officers confiscated his stash last week and how he needed a hit to calm his nerves. That right there, that's the first domino. He told me they found 4 ounces in his locker, took it to the unit manager's office, and locked it up for evidence. Now, most dudes would have let that go, but not T. See, T got something wrong with him. He mistaked desperation for courage. He said, "Joe, I know where they keep it. I could get it back." I laughed. "You think you gonna rob the unit manager's office like this a movie?" He said, "They got cameras, but the key box ain't digital. All I need is 5 minutes. 5 minutes in prison time might as well be a lifetime." I told him, "Do what you want, but keep me out of it." He grinned. That kind of grin that make you feel like you just signed something you ain't read. 2 nights later, word started spreading. The unit manager's office got hit. Files tossed, drawer broken, evidence gone. Whoever did it had nerves of steel and the luck of a ghost. They ain't catch nobody, but rumor said T pulled it off. That rumor hit my tier before breakfast. And all I could think was, this fool actually did it. That night, I went back to the laundry room just to make sure my own house was clean. I pulled the washer forward, reached behind, and froze, and the cavity was stuffed. Plastic bag full of weed sitting right on top of my things like an uninvited guest. My heart dropped straight through my shoes. That idiot T used my hiding spot, the same hole I've been using for years. He must have seen me pull from there once or heard rumors about my setup. And now, because of his dumb move, my whole operation was sitting in the line of fire. I ain't touched the bag, didn't even breathe too hard near it. I just stood there, hand on the wall, trying to stop that pulse pounding in my throat. I told myself I'd move it after count. But prison don't wait for nobody's timing. Next morning, a CO named Barnett comes storming in the laundry with a clipboard. He had that look. The one that say he got a tip and he gonna ride it all the way. I said, "Nah, laundry's closed till further notice." I played dumb. "What's going on?" I asked. He smirked. "Somebody broke into the unit manager's office. Guess where the trail leads?" And that's when two other COS walked in with flashlights. They went straight to the back, didn't even search the bins first. They knew exactly where to look. That's how I knew somebody snitched. They pulled the washer back and found the bag. When they opened it, I saw my own stuff spill out too. Phones, tobacco, everything I'd hid behind there. I clenched my fists so tight, I thought my knuckles would crack. I wanted to scream, but rage in prison just make you look guilty faster. Barnett looked at me and said, "You still want to play dumb?" I stared right through him. I've been through this dance too many times to beg. They packed everything up, tagged it, and left me there standing in the smell of detergent and betrayal. That's when Dre Williams came in, and the old head, smooth talker, the type who always seemed to know too much. He said, "Joe, you look like somebody just stole your sermon." I didn't answer. He leaned closer. "They hit your spot, didn't they?" I gave him a look that said, "Mind your business." But Dre ain't the type to back off easy. He said, "Word is Kareem seen T-Stash something last night." That name hit me like a slap. Kareem Adams, another inmate, young but always watching. Eyes like a hawk, loyalty like fog. They're 1 minute, gone the next. If Kareem saw T, that meant he had leverage. And in here, leverage is more dangerous than dope. I found Kareem later that day, sitting at the card table. He had that grin, the one men wear when they know something they shouldn't. I pulled up a chair. "You saw him, didn't you?" He didn't look up. "See who?" "Don't play, Kareem." He smirked. "Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. What's it worth to you? That's the language of prison. Every truth got a price tag." I leaned in and, "You name it." He looked around and whispered, "I want protection. T got enemies. And now I do too." I told him, "You safe with me." That was lie number one. He said, "Then you better move quick, because T bragging about hitting that office like he invincible." And that's when I knew T didn't just hide the weed in my spot. He was using my name to cover himself. If word spread that the stash came from the laundry, everyone would think Joe running things again, which meant when the COS came knocking, I'd be the headline. That night, I sat on my bunk thinking about all the years I'd kept my nose clean as a hustler's conscience could be. And in one move, one reckless boy burned it all down. But here's the thing. You don't survive long in here by letting anger sit idle. You aim it, so I aimed mine. And I promised myself that by the weekend, T. Allen was going to pay interest on the debt he didn't even know he owed. Friday came with that stale cereal and rubber egg smell, the kind of breakfast that make a man dream about salt. I ate slow, watching the room, waiting for T to strut through like he owned a parade. He did, late, loud, and already smiling. Some boys mistake attention for armor. They think if enough eyes on them, bullets will get shot. I sent a kite through Dre Williams, short and plain, mop sink, second bell. That corner in the laundry stays whisper friendly. Washer motors chew words before they reach the door. I got there first and posted low, 1 foot on the baseboard, eyes on the clock that always run 3 minutes slow. Kareem drifted in and leaned on the broom like it could vouch for him. Then T slid through, hoodie up, chin high, already rehearsing a lie he thought I'd rent. "Close the door," I said. Dre did it for me and posted at the threshold, looking casual the way a locksmith looks at a stubborn lock. I didn't raise my voice. "Say you carry 4 back from admin," I told T. He smirked. "Allegedly." and say you hid it where God couldn't see. Allegedly, and say you hid it behind my third washer. He tried to stare me down, but his eyes blinked too quick. Accidents happen, he said. Not in my house, I answered. I stepped closer, slow enough to let him finish any prayer he had handy. You dragged heat into my sanctuary. They found your stunt and my history in the same breath. That means I don't just lost supplies, I lost quiet. Quiet costs more than product. He opened his mouth. I lifted a hand and the words stayed in his throat like contraband. You gonna repay me 10 times the value of what they hauled, I said. Cash, not grams. 3 drops in 12 days. Dre handles the handoffs. Kareem stays invisible. Kareem licked his lips like he just tasted his own name. I turned on him. You were born with 2 ears and no warrant. Use them like furniture. Sit quiet. T scoffed, chin tilting like a rusty hinge. 10 is a dream, OG. I nodded, interest already ticking. Make me dream bigger. Dre took a half step in. Do it, kid, he said, not unkind. Think of this like tuition. You pay to learn what grown men already know. T stared at the floor so hard he almost dented it. Then the fight in his shoulders deflated. Fine, he said, but I need 2 days. You got one, I answered. Tomorrow's sunset. After that, the number gets taller. He left in a slant of frustration, jaw tight, hoodie tighter. Kareem stayed. I'm dead if he thinks I talk, he whispered. You are if you keep whispering, I said. Go push laundry carts. Let your back do the speaking. Dre chuckled low. You do sermons without pulpits, he told me. I do invoices, I said. The pulpits don't pay. The unit acted like it didn't hear nothing, which means it heard everything. Prison gossip moves like fog, slow, everywhere, hard to prove. The only people who don't respect mist are the ones drowning in it. By dinner, half the tier had decided I was overcharging. The other half decided I wasn't charging enough, and admin pretended to be deaf while waddling past with clipboards like life preservers. Night fell sharp. My head wasn't busy and it was precise. I counted the loss. 2 phones, tobacco roll, emergency cash bundle. Then I counted the new losses: reputation bruised, route hot, room suspicious. That's the math men don't teach you when they teach you to hustle. The surcharge on peace. The first payment arrived, tucked in a box of detergent, vacuum sealed and sweaty. Dre brought it, thumb tapping the lid like a metronome. Short by 100, I said after counting. He shrugged like a lawyer who already billed me for the shrug. Tax the next drop, he said. I already did, I said. We grinned at each other without joy. Kareem started flinching at footsteps. When a man studies the ground more than the sky, it means he expects to fall. I caught him alone by the laundry chute, palms slick, eyes wrong. Stop making guilt look like a hobby, I told him. You ain't safe because you told. You safe because you quiet now. He nodded fast and nodded again like he was practicing agreement for later. Admin turned the screws. Surprise shakedowns and new locks. Sign-in sheets that wanted full names where initials used to get smiles. Internal came twice asking the kinds of soft questions that bruise slow. You ever notice anything unusual by the third washer? I noticed washers wash, I said. They looked disappointed, like I'd failed a test they hope I'd ace. The second drop came heavy enough to make up for the first. It arrived through the kitchen door in a cardboard coffin that used to hold cornbread mix. Dre passed it with his pinky finger like he was allergic to direct possession. You know, he said quietly, the kids break-in gave you a gift you don't want. What's that? Relevance. I almost laughed. Relevance is loud, I said. I sell quiet. We were almost square when T made the mistake every beginner makes. He celebrated before he finished paying. He showed up the child tapping his tray like a drum, talking thrill stories, how the unit manager kept his keys sloppy, how the camera blind spot was a gift from God. That's the sort of testimony that earns new listeners you don't want. 2 hours later, the sergeant had him pressed to a wall with questions that sounded like statements dressed for church. He looked over at me while they patted him down, and I looked through him. Ain't nothing I can do for a man trying to autograph his own indictment. They couldn't prove he broke the office, but they could prove he was cocky. And cocky is probable cause in here. They tossed his cell and found nothing but dust and denial. He walked out smirking, which is what boys do when luck misleads them. His third payment ran late. He came to the laundry empty-handed, chin higher than his pockets. I need time, he said. You owe time, I said. We stared until the machines did the talking for us. I'll have it by count tomorrow, he offered. By lunch, I corrected. He scowled, then nodded. Lunch came. No money. I didn't yell. I wrote a larger number on the inside of my skull and kept folding towels. By dinner, he paid, crumpled hundreds with a thumbprint of fear. We were even on paper, but paper don't calculate everything. The laundry room changed. Men used to cut through it, humming along with the motors, borrowing steam like warmth. Now they walked the long way, eyes flicking to the third washer like it might testify. Administration posted a new schedule on the door. 2 men in the room at any time, all movements logged. They called it safety. I called it an obituary for convenience. Kareem went ghost without leaving, present but pale, quiet as swallowed water. Nobody sat with him. Snitches get what policy never promises, solitude without a cell change. He tried to catch my eye once, to barter remorse for relevance. I looked past him toward the wall that used to be a friend. Dre pivoted like he always do. One day broker, next day chaplain, third day critic. He walked by the third washer, tapped the metal with 2 knuckles and said, eulogy. Rebuild elsewhere, he added, already smiling at the next idea. Or don't rebuild at all, I said. His eyebrows jumped. Retirement, probation, I answered with myself. That night I stayed after lock-in on a maintenance slip I wrote myself. I stood at the third washer, hand on the panel, listening. The hum hadn't changed. I had. I slid the panel open one last time, not to store, not to steal back a feeling, just to see the empty honest. Dark cavity, dust like an old advice. I wiped the edge with my sleeve and closed it gentle, like laying a lid on a box you ain't ready to sell but can't keep. On the way out, C.O. Barnett stopped me at the door. You know, Baker, he said, you were always too clever for your own good. I smiled without teeth. Maybe I'm learning to be simple. He laughed the way a man laughs when he don't think you got the range. Simple gets you bored. Bored gets you sloppy. He waved me on like he was dismissing a sermon. Back on the tier, T tried to dap me. I looked at his hand like it was a question mark and kept walking. He called after me softer than before. We good. We even, I said. Even ain't the same as good. Days stacked, thin and careful. I ran towels, fixed hoses, signed sheets. Men stopped asking me for favors. They started asking me for time, like I sell hours wholesale. I tell them I got none. Truth is, I got plenty. I'm just spending it on quiet again, even if the rate went up. Sometimes I catch whiffs of lint and heat and memory, and for a split second the old itch starts. But then I remember the cart, the clipboard, the look on Barnett's face when he pulled my past into daylight. Memory is a better AA meeting than most preachers. Kareem tried to transfer, request denied. Nothing punishes a man like making him stay where his echo won't speak back. He stopped flinching and started floating. Not brave, just numb. I wish I had salvation to sell him. All I got is advice. Advice ain't a parachute, it's a weather report. Dre found me in the corner folding one afternoon and asked, "You sleep better yet?" I said, "I sleep different. Better is a luxury item." He nodded like a man who rents wisdom by the hour. Kid learned his lesson, he pressed. Lessons are rentals too, I said. He'll need the reminder plan. 2 weeks later, unit manager gave a speech nobody believed about personal responsibility and institutional trust. While he talked, I watched T hover at the edge of the crowd, lighter in his pocket, itch in his blood. That's the thing about pain. Some people heal, some people adopt it like a pet and teach it tricks. T flicked the lighter, not to spark it, just to hear the click. He ain't a villain. He just ain't finished being wrong yet. I went back to work, ran a new load, listened to the drums spin, and let the hum settle in my bones without asking it for favors. I ain't proud of the math I made him do, but I'm more ashamed of the math I ignored. All those years I stored peace in a wall like it had a savings account. Turns out peace don't accrue interest, it charges rent. If you're looking for neat endings, you wandered into the wrong chapel. We're still here, me, the room, the hum, the third washer, now just a respectable citizen with a padlock and a memory. T's debt ledger is clean, his habits ain't. Kareem eats alone and stares at his water. Dre collects toll on a brand new bridge he claims is temporary. And me, I fold towels like scripture and clock out of the kind of trouble you only realize is employment after you retire. Most nights I lock the laundry, touch the cool metal, and give myself one rule to remember. Don't rent your quiet, not for a favor, not for a boy's victory lap, not for the illusion that the wall loves you back. And if you catch that faint trace of burnt lint and weed drifting from a vent, walk away. Some smells are just the future telling you it already testified. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.